Wild Wisdom Warriors. This is Lily Kolosova and welcome to Russian Tea Room. Today I'm going to be having a discussion with Dar, who is a spiritual mentor. So Dar, welcome to Russian Tea Room.
I'm so happy to be here. I'm so grateful. Thank you for asking me to join you today. Yes.
Thank you for being here. You are a spiritual mentor and you have a lot to offer to humanity. So I wanted to have you on today for this new episode or new series that I'm doing online. And I wanted to talk today about ancestors. And you're a perfect person to talk to about that subject today and that topic, because ancestral wisdom is the foundation for my teaching as well,
Right.
metaphysical teaching. So I wanted to discuss with you today what is ancestral wisdom to you and how you build that foundation for yourself. So today you can share this with our listeners on Wild Wisdom Warriors. What is ancestral wisdom to you, Dar?
So the way that I see ancestral wisdom is that it is within us. It's within our codes. As we have organic mass, we also have light. And within those light codes, the universe is held. All of our knowledge is held. All of our ancestors reside there. It is our soul's essence that we live through on a daily basis when we're connected to our ancestral energy and knowledge. It makes you unique, but you must rise up in your independence, in your belief of oneself, in order to express through that. The expression of that is the actual soul's energy, the soul trying to express itself through your avatar. And in doing that, the way that I do it on a daily basis is that I connect to Gaia and the earth first, because she is our foundation of which we have our experience. And so I connect to her first, and then I call in my soul. And I live through my soul's energy, staying fully connected to my higher consciousness and my soul, and allowing them to guide me, so that I stay out of the body and stay out of all of the distractions of the physical body, so I can hear the ancestors, so they can visit me, so I can visit them. But it is within your own power. We are this. We are the ancestors. We are our own ancestors. And so go ahead.
And that's the key. That's the key. The ancestors are us. It is in our blood. That's why we call this the bloodline and everything. It all has to do with the power that we hold in our blood, in our DNA. We hold all the wisdom within us. And so all the way, this in our essence, this is our soul essence. That's what it is to me.
Yeah, you bet. And you're right. It's within our blood. We are the ancestors. And this is what people need to understand, is that it is you. You are me. I am you. It is us. We are here together once again, and we are the ancestors ourselves. Yeah, we have to rise up in our power in order to unlock our codes within our blood, within our DNA, in order to understand ourselves. And it's really about self-love, self-knowledge, and belief in oneself and forgiveness. Then you start unlocking. That's why I try to love myself on a daily basis. I do whatever I can.
Let's talk about that, unlocking the blood codes, because it is the initiation into that wisdom, that ancestral wisdom. It's the unlocking of those codes.
Right.
And we talked a lot about that. And, you know, my being Russian and coming from that a part of the world, it is embedded in my blood, and I was raised with it as well.
Right.
You know, so for me, it is close to my heart. And it is also, I have a lot of knowledge, also conscious knowledge that I was taught by grandparents, you know, by my grandmothers, I was surrounded by all this beautiful and amazing women in my life that are just full of the wisdom. And so I was lucky enough to also have the conscious knowledge that I carry. And so now this time of wolf age that we just enter into in 2016, right? As of September of 21st of 2016, we have entered into wolf age. And that's the rising up of the ancestral wisdom within us. And so we are like wolves ourselves. That wisdom is just pouring out of us. It is within our blood. So let's talk about that initiation process, because this is I think the foundation for this, and to go through this age and to activate this blood code, we have to step into this initiation, which is the foundation for you right now, in this moment, in this lifetime.
That's right. I agree 100%. So to unlock it, to access it, for this initiation to occur, you must seek within oneself. You cannot seek outside of self and expect it to unlock. It won't. What will happen?
Exactly. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna ask you repeat that again. There is no way that anyone can unlock your ancestral codes except you.
Exactly. You're in power. You are the powerful being within your existence. Your soul's expressing through you in this lifetime. That is your power. That houses all your knowledge. And then it moves into the organic body, and those codes are in the organic body. They are spirit, they are essence, they are you, they are knowledge, they are consciousness. The only way to unlock them, nobody can do it for you. You can't go to a healer and have a healer unlock your codes for you. What has to happen is you can have modalities.
Or a shaman. Shaman cannot do it for you either.
No,
you gotta be your own shaman.
Right? Exactly. So you have to seek within yourself. You have to seek out your own power. You have to seek out who you are, why you are, get curious about yourself. You have to reside within the mind of you, not the mind of the body, not the mind of the distractions. And you've got to stop seeking outside of self. You have to seek within, and then you will get a message. Your soul, your highest consciousness will give you a message. Pay attention, be aware. So the step one is the seeking. Step two is to stay present. Stay present. Don't seek outside self. Stay within self. Stay present, so that when you do get your message and you feel a little unlocking, you understand that there's something has occurred. Something is different. What is that? Ask yourself. And it will keep going on a daily basis, but you have to seek your own power. You're the only one that can do it. No one else outside of you can. Nobody has that power, you see. Yeah.
No, and this is why it is this, because without this foundation,
Yes,
I say there is nothing else, because your house, then your spiritual being has no foundation to stand on, and you're building your spiritual system or your spiritual being on the false structure.
I agree 100%, because there's so many structures that are false. So the only thing that you can rely upon is you. The only thing that you should depend upon is you. What you need to do is start, when you look at self, you have to accept yourself first. Remove all of that guilt, that shame, that lack. Remove it. It doesn't belong to somebody as magnanimous as us. because we are soul creatures, are we not? We are soul creatures, and we are creatures of the earth. This is exactly where we belong, and we are our own ancestors. And the knowledge resides within us. It's not outside of us. Nothing is outside of us that we need. It's all within. And nobody is the facilitator of that. Yeah, they can trigger awakenings, trigger memories and certain things, but you're the one who holds the power. You want to do it yourself. You don't want to be codependent. That's the worst thing you could ever do, is be codependent and look for somebody to hold your hand during it, because then you're never really in your power, are you? You're always seeking outside yourself, looking for that support so you don't have to rise up because you're scared, right? Fear is
And I think that this is the thing that most people today struggle with in the world, is that they don't have this foundation or understanding. And I know that there has been put a lot of work by controllers of this matrix. There was a lot of work that they put in to take that foundation right from underneath us.
right.
And we know the history, and we hold the history of that Akashic record, or the true Akashic record is always within us too. And so there is no external record, because this is also in our blood, because that's also our ancestors, the record itself. It's the living record, and we are it. We are the living record.
Right, because we are the light. You see, we are that essence. We are the code itself. That's why it's so important for you to seek out your own talent, your own desires, your own interests within oneself. Once you start, energy goes wherever you focus is where energy flows. If you start focusing on yourself, then it starts creating a foundation. I go every morning, I come into alignment. I call my soul, I call my highest consciousness, and I tell them, link to me now, let's awaken, and send me my messages so that I may lead myself correctly, right? So that's why my cups are always full. No matter what, I'm always feeling good. I always feel amazing. I'm inspired. I'm intrigued. I'm alive. I'm grateful. I'm passionate. I'm curious about everything that has to do with me. And then I want to connect to my people, right? Outside of me.
Right. Because as we know, our ancestors, that also work together, right?
In unity.
Shamanic circles.
Yes.
And you know, and I know for me as a female, this has been because we can hold that power within the womb of who we are. I'm talking about energetic womb as well. And so that the creation itself is within us. So understanding that and being raised by women that have so much wisdom, that spiritual wisdom that they were able to share with me throughout my life, starting from a very young age. I understand the power of that, knowing who you are on that level, that the spirit that you hold, right? The spirit that you hold, when you respect that, then you respect yourself, and you know that creation flows from within. So like you said, then you as a creator being in human form, every day you wake up, it's a new creation. You're gonna create your day. You're gonna create your moment. You're gonna create your next step. You're gonna create your next business. You're gonna create, it is a 360-degree view. At the same time, it is a 360-degree responsibility.
Yes.
Especially for females today. I think that we can talk about this, because I do want to touch on the new moon energy and what is it bringing. And for us, perceiving this from as anchored in this ancestral wisdom today. I want to perceive this for our future as humanity. We want to see this from this perspective, from the inner perspective of 360-degree responsibility and 360-degree view of what are we doing in this reality.
Okay, so what we are doing in this reality, it is the rise of the female. It is the rise of the female power, rise of the female energy. And as your calendar says, September 1st, right? It is the, what was your phrase of the wolf, right? That's the seeker. That is the female energy. Seek the female energy. Seek the power within the womb. See, we as females, as a race, we've shrunken ourselves in order to exist in a system that doesn't work for us. So now we are energetically not capable of doing it anymore because our codes are unlocking. And because more people are seeking out their own power, more people are seeking out answers, more people are curious. As more people from humanity become curious, it's a signal, a beacon that goes to the collective consciousness that flows through us. We are our collective consciousness. So all of a sudden we start getting all these messages, right? Some of them are from us, to us, from others also. Some of them are from us in the future, right? Some of them are from our ancestors here in the now. But it all flows through our codes. It all flows through our consciousness. And it all has to do with the rise of the female. Within this, on this timeline right now, the rise of the female is very important because we must understand as a female that we hold the wisdom of a queen. We hold the wisdom of a queen. We hold the courage of a lion. We hold the power of the goddess. We hold the love of the eternal. And we are the flow of the earth itself, flows through us, and right up into the universe. But that is just within us. It's not outside of us. It is us. We are the earth. We are the universe. We are all these things. And the unlocking of all of this power, which is the feminine principle, is unlocking now. It's the rise of the feminine principle. And the feminine principle is all of these things: the wisdom, the courage, the love, the structure, the swiftness and power of Gaia. This is what we are. This is what we are. We have never been anything but this. It's just that we didn't recognize it, and now we're seeking it. And it's so important that we seek the independence of that. If we don't, if we seek outside ourselves, it won't happen to you. That's just the bottom line.
Right. And as you say, it's also the rise of the codes are unlocking, like you say, the feminine, the energy is unlocking.
Right.
This is the ancestral codes that are unlocking too. Because,
but that is the ancestors, right? It is the ancestors.
Right. So the potential for awakening, for humanity, just opens. It's really big. Open right now. And I think for each individual out there that is standing on this path today, right now, to everyone who's listening, you're standing and you don't know, because if you look and you say, okay, I'm going to look at this 360-degree view, and what you see is a lot of mess, right?
Right.
And that's the thing. And I always say, when you do that, when you step on this self-initiation, because you yourself have to initiate this path for you, the ancestors' path. It's for you to initiate it. So when you do that and you stand in that, remember that when you do first step into that and you look around from this perspective of 360 degrees. And
Yeah.
because we are so programmed to look at everything outside of ourselves that is affecting us and we don't have control.
Identify with all that outside.
And we identified with that. What we need to do is, and I always say, look at the storm and look at that and stand in the eye. Because when you stand in the 360 degrees, the way you know that it is a true initiation is when you stand like you are standing in the eye of the storm. You are not identifying with any of those things flying around in your external
They're just
place. And when you see it and it looks big, that's a sign that you've just stepped into the eye. You are seeing it there.
Right.
Don't jump into it and try to identify it with one side or another. Because what's been happening with a lot of people and working with the group of people in the past, I can tell you from my own experience that a lot of people, once they get to the point where they somehow do stand into this center of themselves, a lot of times the programming is so overwhelming to where they try to identify with the least resistant projection that is coming from them outside, and they go, oh, okay, this, and then they you know, and then I'm not going to identify with that and that and that, so it's scary.
It's a cycle. It's a cycle, right?
Right.
And so what you're asking is the foundation for us to unlock. Well, just us talking about this is unlocking us. Do you know our DNA right now, our blood codes, because we're together talking about this, are unlocking right now? It's how it happens in unity. Because we are one race, we are one consciousness. But we all have identity through our soul. And we're not one soul, yet we are. So we have our own identity through our soul, right? So that's why it has to be your own individual journey. You have to rise up in your power. Nobody can do it for you. You have to seek it out. You have to be interested in yourself. You have to let go of fear and try to break the old programming. And you're right. Stand in the eye of the storm as the observer. Don't identify with anything outside of self. Nothing outside of self is more important than self itself. And that is 100%, that will get you to alignment. All you have to do is feel it once. That's all that needs to happen. All you have to do is feel the unlocking once, and you'll become so overwhelmed and curious and elated by it that you'll go back to that. You'll focus on it. So if you could do that, the best time to do it is in the morning. As soon as you understand you're in a body, as soon as you become conscious that you're in a body, you should seek out your own power. Talk to your soul, talk to your codes, talk to yourself. Engage.
Right. Because we're talking about this unlocking in our blood, right? So that ancestral wisdom and this codes.
Yes.
But we are in the body, like you said, and we get that awareness first thing as you open your eyes. You're coming into your body, but your body is your vehicle. It is the elemental point. It is the central elemental point for all of you.
Right.
There is a spirit within. There is a whole existence that is within.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But there is a body consciousness that, and this is what I think a lot of times, that body consciousness is this 4 elements, right?
Yes.
If those 4 elements are not in balance, then this is what also can hinder that process of initiation.
But that's where, right. Yeah, I agree, Lily. But that's where like your hypnosis that you're doing will come in handy. There's things, modalities need to be used um, in order to clear the path a little bit for the person so that they can rise up in their power. That's why modalities were created, right? And so they were created as a helpful tool in order for you to rise up in your power and unlock your own codes. So nobody's
Right.
unlocking for you, but they're aiding you as a sister, as a brother.
Right, just like our ancestors did. Like, here, here we go. I'm drinking chamomile tea. This is a medicine for everything, and it is a spiritual medicine. It's too. It's the medicine for your spirit. It is for balancing your body consciousness. And so when people say, "Well, your body is, body consciousness," just throw it away. You can't throw it away. It is your vehicle. It is the most precious. It is the most precious vehicle that you have. It's the vehicle of your spirit. That it's the Mother Earth itself. We are exactly of the elemental. If you look at our elemental structure, we're exactly as Earth.
I know.
75% water.
Yeah.
I mean, hello. How can people deny that? And so today, we got to talk about that, because the body consciousness, and this is what we're going to talk about today too, is like, you got to take care of your vehicle as well. And it's got to be a conscious transformation. When you step into this initiation, it will come to you naturally. Like for me, it comes naturally. Just like I am connected to Earth, so I know, just like my mother taught me. You go and we used to pick our own chamomile.
Yes,
You talk to the flowers before you pick them.
Right. And
you talk to them. And so just like you said, same thing. You got to talk to your body when you wake up. I like to do is first thing in the morning, I go, brush my teeth, is whatever. I talk to myself in the mirror. I smile at myself. I say good morning to my beautiful body.
Me too. I'm so happy to see myself every day, Lily, because it's like you said, this is our avatar. Earth medicine is the true medicine. It's medicine of the spirit. It has always been around. We have always used it. The people that have used it more in more lifetimes than not are more naturally attuned to it. But what you can do, because I know this, I can see consciousness, right? So when I did a lot of earth medicine, and we too, right? I'm reverent to the earth. I'm connected to the earth. But when I hold plant life, I download its consciousness. That's how I'm able to talk to it. It downloads its consciousness and tells me exactly what to do. So I create formulas. I created a formula, my first formula, when I was 12 in that manner. And that's how we used it. That's how you guys are using it. That's why you're able to do it. You're connecting to the consciousness of it, which is the consciousness of the earth and the universe, which is our consciousness. We're all one. So
exactly. This is what one of the Hermetic principles, right? This universal mind, right? Yeah. That's the consciousness, universal mind, and that's the consciousness that within everything, and that's a living field. This is what I refer to as a living field of consciousness. Right. And because there's artificial, stuff, right? So in this day and age, you kind of have to really focus on that to understand what is that. These are the basis, also the foundation for Hermetic principles, is that everything is consciousness. Everything is universal mind. It's all one.
It is all one, and it's within us. It's not actually outside of us. The universe resides within us. That's why all of our knowledge and our powers within us we are our ancestors. Our codes are within us. We need our avatar in order to move around. It's for tasks, our avatar, but we must be reverent of it and be well with it. I don't have a thyroid, right? So parasites killed my thyroid. I shouldn't be alive today. The way that I keep my body alive is that I live through my soul's essence and plant life. That's how I keep my body alive. I don't, Lily, I haven't had a doctor since I gave birth to my son 30 years ago. I am my own doctor because I am in my own power. I don't need someone to tell me who I am. And it's just like you don't need someone to tell you who you are. None of us do. We can do this ourselves. All we have to do is seek within ourselves and start unlocking our awareness, our knowledge, our ancestral codes, our wisdom, right? And so with your tea room, I mean, it's just so wonderful that you're doing this because it's going to unlock I know it's a beautiful cup too, right? She has a beautiful cup, right?
Thank you.
You're welcome. And so that's what it is. It resonates to our signature frequencies. It has its own signature frequency, but it matches us just like we are a mini-me of the earth. We match the earth. She matches us. Does she want to shake us off like everybody says? No. She loves us. We love her. We are her. She doesn't want to get rid of us. Why would she?
I know.
When we're in our power, we respect her. We're reverent to her. We give her gifts. We send her love. We speak to her. We join her. She joins us because we are one with her. And so she is part of our collective as we are part of hers. And her soul, the source energy within her, the consciousness within her is also flows through us. So how can you separate one from the other? You cannot.
I know there's a lot of, let's just say, uninitiated people running around telling all kinds of crazy stories about how to ascend and all that stuff, right?
I know.
It's a comedy show for me to watch these people, try to identify it with something so ridiculous, if you ask me, but then that's just me. I'm straightforward, so I'm just gonna say it for what it is. It's just looping in that storm and trying to grab on to something to identify it with.
And it's only because they haven't, they're not in their power, so they're trying to create an identity outside of self. When you do that, it's a false identity. I don't care who you are. It's a false identity when you're identifying outside of self. How can it be real? It's not yours. The only identity is within. That is the only identity we have. So, yes.
Yeah, it's funny sometimes, but it is what it is. What I want to focus on, in what you just mentioned, is the awareness. And what I want to do is this conscious awareness of who you are. Once you grab on to this foundation,
right,
which is that ancestral wisdom that is within you, and you let it flow through you, and if you need to, if you start that with looking at yourself in the mirror and say, I am that wisdom, it flows through me, and just open your heart to your own ancestors to flow through your heart, through your blood, because it's going to circulate that knowledge, that intent. And I used to talk a lot about intent. And that intent, if you bring that into your conscious awareness in this vehicle, and this is how conscious transformation begins.
It occurs because you're a commander being. So as the foundation, you say, look in the mirror, right? There would be a tool. Look in the mirror, call it forward. wake up, when you recognize you're in the body, call your ancestral wisdom forward. Because we're commander beings, the way that you come into your power first is that you have to start commanding, right? So you seek. Seeking would be using a tool. Seek yourself out in the mirror. Seek yourself out when you wake up. But call it forward. Call the ancestral wisdom forward. Ask it to unlock.
Making that subconscious conscious.
Yes, exactly.
Instead of operating on unconscious level. And this is where you were talking about awareness. This is where this is a conscious choice that you have to make, and your consciousness has to align with that intent.
Right.
And this 100%. Is where we talk about, well, we're all one, but that's not like a collective group thing. It is an individual choice to be conscious of that oneness.
We're like dominoes. We all have to stand up on our own in order to become a fantastic race. We have to stand up one by one by one by one by one by one by one. You cannot have a leader. You cannot go and pay somebody homage. You can't, you can't do that. You're giving your power away to an idea that is not the correct idea. You must be reverent to self. You must seek out your own power because you're the only one that can awaken you. And so right? And
so what I wanna reiterate what you just said. Standing up our own, right? And then I've talked in 2014 when I talk about in my graph about what's going on with the collective human consciousness and where we were at that time. And then I also brought forth some information that the time's gonna come to where we gonna step into, after we individually stand up, that we're gonna come into a point on this in this existence right here to where we're gonna have to, and I've talked about this, that I've known this since I was 13, we're gonna have to come together, so then we can create that
together
collective force. Because what we have, and this is the difference, I think, from that collective thinking or the group thinking, that differentiates us, is that we have to invoke our individual will, which is that spiral force that unfolds.
Right. That's the
that
key
unfolds.
word.
Right.
That's the key word, invoke. We have to invoke. That is a key word here. In this reality, you must invoke your own power.
Yes.
So whatever tools you want to use to invoke that power, you need to do it. And groups, things like that, if you don't have your own identity and you're identifying as a group, you're not in your power. You're giving yourself away and shrinking yourself in order to fit into something so you don't have to challenge yourself.
And that something is victim perpetrator foundation.
100%. 100% is programming, right?
Right. It's a victim perpetrator programming. It's right there clear, right in front of you. But if you are not, if you don't have that willpower within you to stand up,
it's free will.
You will never get that force. It will never unfold within you because it comes from your will. And that's why it's so important to do this on the individual level.
Yes. You cannot do it any other way. So like we said, you can't do it any other way. It's illogical, number one. Ridiculous. Number two, to think somebody has power outside of you. Right? And that you don't house the power or the knowledge, the wisdom, that you're not your own ancestor. Genetically.
Right. Those belief systems, they don't work. They don't work. They only work when you're a master slave. That's the only, it only makes sense in a master slave
mentality,
relationship and mentality. It does not work in the free will universe.
No, and that's where we reside, and that's why we're here, because we house free will. This is a free will universe. That's why invoking is important too, because you're invoking your free will, right? So as a commander being, you're commanding, call it invoking, call it commanding, same thing. But you're invoking and commanding your free will, which will be your intention, which becomes your conscious awareness.
Which is the force.
That's right.
That's the force.
That's the life force.
Right.
It itself to it. Your life force, that spirit that resides within you, that chi, call it whatever you want. It is a force to be reckoned with. Now you've got to channel it correctly. Intention of integrity is important. Intention of integrity as you rise up is really important. So open your heart to love of oneself, because if you don't, then you think you're loving others and you don't love yourself, you're delusional.
Yeah, you're delusional. That's so good. Well put. That's such a delusion. And the other thing is that working through a master slave programming somehow will empower. I have heard such stories of empowerment that is like laughable at this point.
I know. Yeah.
Oh, how slaves, hear how you empower yourself. Just bend more. You didn't bend enough to your master. You gotta bend a little bit more. Then you be empowered and sovereign. I mean, it's laughable, right?
It's laughable. You know, you're like me in the sense, I get myself into situations because I always have a lot of courage. My convictions are my own. Right. I believe in myself. That's who I believe in. So you can't tell me something that I don't believe in about myself. You're not going to tell me something about me that I don't already know. And so I don't seek out from others. I seek out within myself at all times. And so people ask me, well, I've had really big battles about them seeking outside of themselves. And then they want to introduce me to the people that they are trying to find this wisdom from, that they are buying into the wisdom from. And I meet the people and I'm like, is this some kind of a joke? Is this a circus act going on here? I'm bored that I'm like, what? This can't be real. It's not real.
Well, what they're trying to show you is that their master is better than other people's master. And this is, to me, had always been my struggle, because I was born aware of who I am. So, at 6 years old, I come up to a pastor in church and I'm like, you need to do this and this and this because you have this and this and this problems. And they go, oh, devil's in her. But as I got older, it's like it becomes, that's why I'm laughing, because to this day, Dar, there's people out there that will tell me, oh, look at this master, look at this master. You need, Lily, you need to, master, he's going to make you a better slave. And at this point, we laugh, but what I want to focus on is the foundation for others, because this is going to be going on YouTube. So let's go back to the foundation. It's like, what are other ways that you're working with clients, right? And so now I'm stepping in to work with clients as well, one-on-one. And so I wanted for you to share with people how it is that, how can we help one-on-one people, and why it is so important for you to get this foundation going. And then your spirit, once you get that going,
you're off,
then that will just push. And once you have the foundation of your true self, and you anchor in this sovereignty of true self, sovereignty, that's talk about the true sovereignty.
Okay, so what I first do with my clients is that it's my job to give them their own direct experience. that is their own personalized experience, so they can't explain how it only occurred to them. But I can see what's happening to them, so I can describe as they're having the experience at the same time. And so what I do is I bring them forward, they come on like this, and I don't need any information. What I say to them is, I'm going to bring you into alignment, and I'm going to introduce you to yourself so that you know who you are. You're going to have something occur that isn't occurring right now as I'm talking to you. And then we go into it. So I bring them into alignment the way you've seen me do that. But I call out their essence, their soul essence, and I ask it to come and introduce itself to them so that only they are having a personalized experience with their own soul. And what happens to them is that their body feels it immediately on so many sensations, but their mind opens immediately. They have clarity. The soul starts talking to them. It's their self talking to self. It's self talking to self. So I only let it happen for about 10 minutes. And it's enough to get them curious about themselves. Because it's not me doing it. How can it be? How can I do that? They're having their own direct experience. And so after the 10 minutes, I say to them, share with me what it is that you experience. And they're blown away by the whole thing because they could feel it. Now, all of a sudden, they're out of body more. They're more in their higher consciousness, more in spirit. And they're not attached to the body. They start feeling lightheaded. All this information opens up to them because they're in their highest consciousness. And they finally recognize themselves in that. And so that's how I do it. That's the first
So
thing.
that helps your clients to get this put their feet on the solid sort of ground of who they are.
You have to give them a direct experience. They have to have their own experience, and then they get curious.
Right.
That's what you have to do.
And that's the key, actually. That's a huge key, which also with what I am doing with Wellpoint hypnosis method. That's a huge key, is that self-directed healing session. It is self-directed, and that's why I call myself a facilitator. I am not, I am facilitating the energy and the knowledge for the individual to step with their own 2 feet on the solid ground of who they are.
Right.
Who they are.
Once they do that, that's the only way healing can happen anyways.
That's the only way healing can happen. That's so beautifully said. There is no other way, as we know that. And this is so important in today's world with so many spiritual salesmen out there that sell you something, ascension and stuff. It's just, it's the key point. And without this foundation of your true self, you will be lost in that storm, trying to identify with gazillion different identities flying around, with gazillion different masks, spiritual masks that people put on, and you'll never find yourself in any of that masks, ever.
You'll never,
ever.
It's about independence, not being codependent. That's why I give them their own direct experience. So I'm just the guide leading them to their own direct experience with themselves. That's all I'm doing. And so I just set it up. I set the tone and the pace and the atmosphere so it can happen. That's all I'm doing. And it's their higher self, their soul, their highest consciousness, them unlocking and having a direct experience with themselves. I'm not calling themselves, I'm not saying to themselves on an intuitive level, on a telepathic level, listen, we're going to shake them up a bit. Can you do this for me? You know what I mean? That's not what's happening. What's happening is that we're coming into alignment with the same intention, and I'm invoking the intention, they're agreeing to the invoking, and they have a direct experience, their own personal experience. It has nothing to do with me.
Yeah, it's beautifully put. You said direct experience.
Yeah, you have to, otherwise you don't believe
with
in
higher self, with your own eternal beingness.
Yes, and that's the only, so whatever retracts from you, if it's making you shrink in conviction, in body, in emotion, in spiritual understanding, if it's making you shrink, it's not true. It's not healing, and it's not knowledge. Anything that enhances you is your truth. It is, if it enhances you on a spiritual level. I'm not talking about a distracting level, like, oh, I ended up buying a G-Wagon, and I bought my mansion on the hill, and I'm swimming in my pool, drinking my martini with all my fake friends around, while I'm professing that I'm connecting to my higher self and in my power. That's not being in your power.
No. To me, I say that indication of that power within is the joy that's flowing from within you. The more joy you feel within, the more that is the indication that you are, because it's the joy, this power, this eternal beingness is the joy that you feel. And a lot of people confuse that with happiness, and when they feel, and that happiness is temporary. This joy, like you said, once those codes unlock, you can't lock them back in. The cat's out of the bag, and that joy just flows through you.
You can't unknow something that you know.
Right.
And so there's the logic in it. So it can't be that you know something and all of a sudden you don't know it. It cannot be taken away from you.
Exactly.
Right? Once you house the knowledge, the unlocking keeps happening, the awakenings keep occurring. And so the foundation.
And the way it keeps occurring, it is on your own terms.
Yeah.
Right? You get to the point.
Yeah.
You get to another one, and when you think you're just floating all in that joy and everything's and then you have that more, because like you said, every day you wake up, it's a new experience. It's a new experience of your true potential as a human being, a creator being in human form. It's new, new potential every day to create on your terms.
And you have to right? It is on your everything's on your terms, because it's only your reality. It's no one else's.
Exactly.
It's just your life. It's just you. So as you look outside of self, anything that's stimulating the body on a material level is not coming from that pure source joy. Now, there's nothing wrong with having things, because you cannot be in lack and stand in your power. If you're lacking anything, you're not in your power. You need more awakenings. So what I did was I gave away my car, my clothing. I had maybe $600 to my name, and I went on a spiritual journey in California. I gave everything away. And I mean everything. I had 2 houses. I gave everything out of the houses away. I gave my vehicle away. I gave my money away. I gave everything away so that I could know spirit, so that I could know my soul, know what it is to actually be full. And I starved for about a month, and then I got real. Then I started realizing that's not standing in your power, Dar. Come on. And so then I had clients, because I have an online business. So it seemed like everything shut down. Absolutely. And then everything rebooted again once I understood you can't be in lack and be in your power, right? So you have to rise up from there. So
this was an amazing conversation, Dar, about the initiation process. And
yeah,
I think it's very important for
yeah,
humanity,
yeah,
because humanity in this wolf age, we're entering into this beautiful time for humanity, to where we can look at wolf's pack and see how they work. It's
right,
beautiful. If you guys don't know, listeners out there, if you don't know um, how wolves operate, I would recommend that you look into it, because it's a
yeah,
beautiful example for us as humanity. And I think this is why our ancestors called this age, or this time in our existence, a wolf age, because it's a beautiful thing. We're going to come together and we're going to work together, and we're all going to be empowered by our own actions and by actions of each other, and we're going to share this. And this is what we're doing. We're sharing our own experiences with humanity. And
yeah,
so I thank you, Dar, so much for sharing your experience, sharing what you're doing to help others. And
right,
so I am doing my thing to
yeah,
help other people, and I'm focusing on
right,
Wellpoint hypnosis right now. And I'm actually wanted to bring that next year to Europe, and I want to go on European tour with, I have other things like my
right,
documentary on Hermetic principles that I
yes,
also wanted to film in Europe as
yeah,
well, because I absolutely love Europe and I want to go back there. So I thank you so much for sharing
you're
your
welcome.
wisdom,
It's
your
my pleasure.
wisdom with listeners, with Wild Wisdom Warriors today. And so, in closing, I wanted to ask you if you have anything else to share on this self initiation process, because this is the potential that we're exploring right now for humanity, is the initiation into this ancestral wisdom.
So for the initiation, it's really important, you guys, I need to share this, is that you understand that you are your own identity. Nothing outside self creates your identity, not even what you do for a living. That is not who you are. That is something that you've desired to do with your avatar through your soul's expression in this existence, in this moment in time. But you need to rise up in your independent identity within your own power. And the way to initiate it is to invoke it, to seek it out, to call it forward as soon as you wake up, when you look in the mirror, when you're walking down the streets, instead of being distracted. Talk to yourself, talk to your wisdom, talk to your ancestral codes and wisdom, and ask them to unlock. Ask them to unlock every day. Don't watch TV. Don't talk on the phone. Don't gossip. Don't listen to things that you believe that are powerful outside self. Nothing is more powerful than you in this moment in time, in your reality. This is about you. It is your life. It is your existence. And you have great wisdom, great knowledge. You have a lot of support, but you are your own ancestor. So if you're looking for your ancestral bloodline wisdom, it is within you, and you must call it forward. Talk to it, talk to your earth, talk to your body, talk to yourself, talk to your soul. If you do that, it's really simple. Nobody needs to know you're doing it. Just do it every day. Do it every day. Seek out yourself every day. Seek out that ancestral wisdom every day and rise up in your own power. Don't give it away to anybody or anything. You're supposed to keep it for yourself. Do not shrink yourself. Be proud and loving and house integrity, and be kind to yourself. Right? So get interested in self. Empower yourself. Nobody can empower you. That's illogical. You are the only one who can empower yourself. You can use modalities to help remove the some of the negative programming that's around you. Calm your nervous system down, calm your energy field down, so that you can link to your power. but you're the only one linking to it. The rest of us, as guides, as healers, as guardians, we move the debris out of the way in order for you to link to that wisdom. And so the universe, your universe, resides within you. All your wisdom resides within you. You are the only one in power in your reality. You house it. It's yours. You know, that's all I have to share.
Know thyself. Know thyself.
Yeah.
And you are a powerful being. Immensely
You are.
powerful, because you are an eternal being.
Yes.
And that power comes through your will from within you. And once you ignite that power within you, it uncoils as that universal force. And that's the source of your transformation and transfiguration. And that's the human consciousness. That's the pure human consciousness.
It alters everything. Absolutely everything. Once you rise up in your power, just seek yourself out, seek your power out, your ancestral wisdom. Your body on a cellular level will even change. It will become more. Everything becomes more. Your life, your happiness, your love, your vision, everything's illuminated because you see the truth of everything once you see the truth of yourself.
Right.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Thank you for having me, Lily.
Well, it was beautiful. Thank you so much, Dar, for being on my show. Thank you so much, and stay wild, everybody.
Stay wild.
And this, yes, we are in wolf age, so make sure you stay wild. Thank you, everybody. Bye.